Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are again talking about memorable scenes. We had a few episodes before where we talked about a few scenes that I like. If you want to see them and you haven't, I'll put the links below. And today we are talking about a very important scene that basically brings a big revelation to the readers. Remember Oblivion, where a character portrayed by Tom Cruise talks about, at the very beginning of the movie, talks about what is happening to Earth. And that turns out to be a lie, which you find out at the end of the movie. Sorry if this was a spoiler for somebody who didn't see Oblivion yet. Anyway, so in the Senthien, the story starts with a lie. So if you haven't read Senthien and you like twists and you like to be surprised, then please don't watch this video, because this scene will actually reveal something that you shouldn't know. If you don't want to read the Senthien, or if you already read the Senthien, then you can continue. So the story starts with a lie. 5,000 years in the future, the Earth is dead. In the chapter 5, you find out from the reader perspective that what everybody thought and what all descendants think is actually not true. So I hope you will like this little scene. I particularly like it because Corinne did such a wonderful job in this dialogue, and especially with Peter. She portrays Peter wonderfully, so I really like it, and I hope you will like it too.
Chapter 5. Hello! I heard the strong voice of the large man leading the group, while he was still more than 20 IPs away. The group continued walking, despite my lack of response. They came to a halt at an uncomfortably close distance. I am Peter Wallace. This is Simon, he said, moving his hand to his right. And Patrick. He motioned to his left. He had a dark brown beard, which covered half of his face, and all I could clearly see were his pleasant honey brown eyes. We've been looking for you for 2 days, he said with a smile. Most jumpers stay where they land, and it's easy to find them. But you, he smiled again and shook his head. We thought we wouldn't find you anymore. Until we came across your tracks on our way back, said the man who Peter Wallace had introduced as Patrick. Fortunately, you chose the right direction. You could have gone the other way, deep into the jungle. We'd never have found you there, said Peter Wallace. Although I had seen them, and I had expected them, I was still so taken aback that I could not respond. Peter Wallace's features took on a worried expression. Do you understand me? Yes, Peter Wallace, I understand you. My voice was firmer than I thought I could muster. My name is Dora Dana Dasnan. My companion needs assistance. Peter Wallace came even closer and looked at Senthien. He was conscious, but so exhausted that he could not lift his head. The man detached a leather bottle-shaped container from his belt and opened the top. Slowly opening Senthien's mouth with his hand, he poured in a bit of water. Senthien swallowed 2 sips and then coughed. He's dehydrated, Peter Wallace said, giving me the water bottle, and with one smooth motion, he scooped Senthien up in his arms. Take a sip. You need it too. The idea of putting the bottleneck to my lips just after it had touched someone else's slightly revolted me. No thank you, Peter Wallace. I am not thirsty. He gave me a side look, but didn't comment. Let's go back to the village, he said to Simon and Patrick. And then he turned to me and said, Dora, it's just Peter. At first, We all walked in silence, our feet crunching the soil underneath our feet. Peter kept watching me intently, and I tried to keep my eyes on the path. "You told me," I said after a while, still not looking at him, "that other jumpers stay where they reported. Which other jumpers?" "I thought you might be interested in that. You all are." His smile was broad, as if revealing a best-kept secret. "You will hear more from old Mike once we're back in the village. But in short, in the last couple of months, we've had a number of people being teleported here. Like I said, most of them are so shocked they just stay where they were dropped, and it's easy to find them. But you..." He looked at me speculatively over Stevanian's head that was drooping on his shoulder. "You didn't." We continued for some moments in silence. He kept looking at me as we walked, and finally I said, "Why are you looking at me?" "Oh, I'm sorry, but you don't look very human. I mean, you do, sort of. But your eyes, they are so green. They don't look human. I don't mean that in a negative way," he quickly continued. "It's just, you look alien." "I'm not an alien. I'm a Senthien, a race of the descendants." I turned my gaze in the direction we were walking. "I guess you must have seen many descendant porters in the last few months." "No," he said, looking back at me. "No, all of the jumpers were humans." Humans? I stared back. Does this mean that every mistake the mind made was with a human? "I do not understand," I said. "Aye, me neither," he laughed. "But one thing is for sure. If you're not human, then you and your partner here are the very first descendants to have been ported to Earth." I stopped in my tracks. Earth! The word pierced my mind, and I let out an audible gasp, my eyes wide open. "Earth," I whispered. Peter stopped and looked back at me. Behind his beard, I could recognize a smile. You didn't know, did you? Well, Dora, welcome to Earth."
I hope you like this little scene. Let me know what you thought of it. Write down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.